Hey folks, Dave Parrish here at Knack Builders doing another video. It's pouring out rain here. I hope the audio doesn't affect the audio. But today's topic, I'll jump right into it. How to generate random numbers. There could be a number of use cases for this, but what I used it on, I hadn't built a large complex app, but it was for students applying for certain classes in the school system down in Florida. And when they were applying, they got ranked in a certain way. I won't get into but they came out with a score. And there was only so many seats in each class, and the top people, say there was 20 seats, the top 20 scores would get in. But they wanted to deal with if the scores were the same for, let's say, the number 19, 20, 21, 22 or something. Well, they had to choose one of them because they all had the same score and made the cut. And the state actually had some mandate. Well, you have to assign a random number, and then whoever has the highest random number will get in. That's what happened here. I'll take you through how to do that. Thanks. Okay, let's do this. How to deal with random numbers. By the way, there's an article Knack has. I think this is where I originally learned it. It basically goes over what I go over. I'll put this in the YouTube link. Let's call up an app. I just have one of their template apps. I added this stuff to. So here's the deal. If you want a random number, you're going to create an equation field. So you know how to do that. Equation. Here it is. Call it random ID, and you have to just pick a function. And in this case, it's random. The article just uses random, but I use random int, which gives me only integers. And then these two numbers here is what it's going to fall between 1 and 10,000. So those are the random stuff that it's going to pick. I believe it's possible that if you had a lot of records, a random number potentially may not be unique within your table. I'm not sure how you get around that. If someone knows, let me know. So this creates the random number. Now I'm going to go to records, and you'll see this random number right here. Now this is an important note on how this behaves. My scenario or use case where we want to assign a random number to each of the applications so they can use that to split hairs, if you will, if a lot of people had the same score for the cutoff point for a class. Well, the way this random thing works, every time you update a record, it regenerates another random number. And in our case, we didn't want that because we wanted that same number to be attached and not have these kids be moving around. We had to, that place gets audited by the state, and they'll look at that, and if the number changed and this kid got in but he had a lower score than someone else, so we had to deal with that. But I'm going to show you this 3045. That's the random number that was generated. Now if you update, you edit anything in this record, I'm going to make this 2 into a 1. Remember, that was 3045. It just regenerated it to 866. That behavior we don't want. I'm going to show you how to get around that. It's pretty simple. We are going to add a number field, and I'm going to just call this, how about static random, meaning once it's set, it stays the same. I don't believe if you click must be unique, it will. I think it will override that. And maybe I should test it. I think in this type of thing it will override it when I talked about that unique thing. Maybe not. Okay. Then we're going to go here, and these conditional rules are great. There's so many things you can do with conditional rules. It's just as creative as you can get. What we're going to say is only run what we're going to do here when we're going to have this rule for the static random look at itself. And we're going to say we only want it to run when it is blank. So that means the first time. And we want to set the value to a field, and that field value will be the random ID. So if it's blank, meaning it's when the record's being created, it will run because it's blank. It will set the ID. Afterwards, since it's no longer blank, it won't run and it will retain what it originally captured. Now let's test that out here. We'll go here. Now notice it's blank. This is a Knack behavior. When you set up this type of thing, it takes a while for it to do its thing. I'm just going to force it. This is this little trick I do with updating. A lot of people do it. If we just we make it run, update everything, and then it sort of engages stuff. But let's just do this here. Now remember, 866. Update. We'll do this update. It doesn't matter. We're just performing an action. So static is blank, so it's going to run. But we had 866. It updated itself again. So now it's this. Now, if we do something, make this a 2, it changed its number here, because it will change the random number every time it's updated, but the static remains the same. That's what we want. And notice this too. This is all these sort of formulas or updating things or whatever. A lot of them have an order of operation. Since we want this after random ID, because if it was before, it would run. It would look at the old value, it would run it, capture that, and then it would regenerate the number. So just logically, we want the static ID to grab its value after this value is already set. So don't put it before. That's all I got. Hope that was helpful. It's one of my shorter ones. Thanks.